Here is something most people don't realize. The couples who love each other the most often fight the hardest. And one of the most common and most painful, pairing the anxious partner with the avoidant partner. It's the kind of love story that feels magnetic in the beginning, but it almost always burns out in heartbreak. Welcome back to Keep Calm, Margot, the channel where we explore dating psychology, love and attraction from a woman's perspective. If you've ever found yourself stuck in a relationship that felt like a roller coaster, today's video is going to hit close to home. Understanding the anxious attachment style. First, let's break this down. Anxious partners crave closeness. They want reassurance, affection, and constant signs that the relationship is secure. They are the ones sending the "Are you mad at me?" texts when you haven't responded in 3 hours. On the positive side, anxious partners are deeply loving, loyal, and tuned into their partner's needs. But their downside is the fear of abandonment. They interpret space as rejection and silence as danger. Understanding the avoidant attachment style. Now let's talk about the avoidant partner. They are often independent, self-sufficient, and value their space. At first that looks attractive. Wow, he's so confident, he doesn't need anyone. But in relationships, avoidants struggle with intimacy. They are uncomfortable with too much closeness. They don't always express their emotions openly and they need space to process things. To an avoidant, a partner's constant reassurance can feel suffocating. A study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that avoidantly attached people report less satisfaction in relationships because they experience closeness as a loss of independence. This explains why avoidants often pull away right when things start to get serious. The attraction between opposites. Here's the crazy part. Anxious and avoidant people are often magnetically drawn to each other. Why? Because they trigger each other's deepest patterns. To the anxious person, the avoidant feels like a challenge. If I can just make them love me, I'll finally feel secure. To the avoidant, the anxious partner's devotion feels flattering at first. It's nice to feel wanted. This push-pull dynamics creates incredible chemistry in the beginning. It feels like destiny. But it's not destiny, it's a cycle. And here's the dangerous part. The very thing that attracts them to each other is the same thing that drives them apart. I'll explain how in just a minute. The Protest-Withdrawal Cycle. Here's where it gets messy. Anxious partners sense emotional distance and go into protest mode. They text more, call more, demand answers, or pick fights. Anything to get reassurance. The avoidant, overwhelmed by this intensity, pulls back even more. They need space, so they withdraw. This creates the Protest-Withdrawal Cycle. The anxious partner chases. The avoidant partner runs. Both end up exhausted, frustrated, and misunderstood. Psychologists call this the pursuer-distancer dynamic, and it's been studied for decades. Research shows that this pattern is one of the strongest predictors of relationship dissatisfaction and eventual breakup. Why they break up? The core reason. So, what's the number one reason anxious avoidant couples break up? It's not lack of love. It's not lack of attraction. It's mismatched emotional needs. The anxious partner needs closeness to feel safer. The avoidant partner needs space to feel safe. And when safety means two completely opposite things, the relationship collapses under the weight of unmet needs. No matter how much they love each other, it feels like walking with two different maps. One says closer, the other says further. Eventually, someone gets tired of walking in circles. The slow burn of resentment. What makes it worse is that both sides feel misunderstood. The anxious partner thinks, "Why can't you just love me the way I need?" The avoidant partner thinks, "Why can't you just give me some breathing room?" Over time, this builds resentment. Resentment kills attraction faster than anything. Even the best chemistry can survive the constant feeling of being judged for your natural needs. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like no matter what you did, it was never enough or always too much? Share your story in the comments. Can they ever work? Now, before you lose all hope, let's be real. Anxious and avoidant couples can work if both partners are aware of their patterns and willing to grow. The anxious partner has to learn self-soothing and trust, while the avoidant partner has to practice vulnerability and communication. But let's be honest, most couples don't get there. Why? Because instead of working on themselves, they keep repeating the same toxic cycle until the relationship cracks. And later in this video, I'll share the one rare scenario where anxious avoidant couples actually do thrive. You might be surprised by what it takes. There are rare exceptions. So, when do anxious avoidant couples make it work? When the anxious partner learns to manage the anxiety instead of chasing. When the avoidant partner learns to lean into discomfort and communicate instead of shutting down. And when both partners commit to therapy or self-development. It's rare, but it happens. It requires both people to basically rewrite their attachment systems. That's not easy, but it's possible. Wrap up and final insight. So let's recap. Anxious partners need closeness, avoidance need space, and when those two collide, it creates a protest-withdrawal cycle that feels like love but often ends in heartbreak. The number one reason these couples break up isn't lack of passion, it's that their emotional needs are completely mismatched. But here is the empowering part. Once you understand your attachment style, you can change your patterns. You can stop chasing, stop running, and start building healthy love. So now I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in an anxious, avoidant relationship? Was it passionate? Was it painful? Drop your story in the comments, I'd love to know. And if this video gave you some insight, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. At Keep Calm Margot, we explore the psychology of love and attraction every week. Because understanding yourself is the first step to building the relationships you deserve. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!